There's an emptiness there that I don't think anybody can ever explain until it happens to them.
It's Daddy. Sometimes like you'll be in disbelief that your child is deaf, like.
The ability to hear is something that most people take for granted. While for some, deafness is a cherished identity. For others, it's something that they dearly want to change.
I want her to just talk when she grows up.
Of course, I need to be careful with my expectations. I don't want to set myself up for a fall here by expecting too much and not getting what I'm hoping for.
Over the next 6 months, we will follow 4 different people as they get an electronic surgical implant that they hope will profoundly change their lives.
This is Mr. Fergal Glynn.
How are you, Gemma? Nice to meet you.
I want to feel that nobody call my name. My name's gone.
Beaumont Hospital in Dublin is a centre of excellence for a groundbreaking technology that has been restoring hearing for hundreds of Irish people since 1995.
Up here?
Yeah.
The National Cochlear Implant Programme was founded and is still headed by Dr. Laura Vianney.
It's sounding.
You're seeing these people continuously, and as long as I'm here, I'll be still seeing them, because it's not just sort of an operation, it's sort of a way of life nearly.
I might just swap places with you if you don't mind.
We hear with our brain, we don't hear with our ears. Our ears just give us impulses so that our brain makes sense of them. In much the same way that if you're dreaming, you can dream even with your eyes closed and see things.
This is a problem in the inner ear, and normally the hair cells stimulate the nerves, and these aren't working. So basically what the cochlear implant does is it bypasses the hair cells, and this electrode stimulates the nerves.
That's lovely, thank you.
And it's this magnificent effort of the brain to reinterpret electrical signals that we have placed inside the ear as human sound that is the real remarkable thing about cochlear implantation.
One-year-old Tegan Kavanagh was born with a profound hearing loss. She's the only child of Tina and Michael. Neither has a history of deafness in their family.
These were her first hearing aids. She got them when she was 5 weeks old. Oh, keeping them in was a nightmare. What we used to do was put surgical tape over the moles, and we used to put double-sided tape at the back to stick them to her skin. But sure, after a while then, she learned how to pull all them off again. She's not getting anything from her hearing aids. You know, a kind of everyday thing she wouldn't really hear at all. A lot of people that have deafness, their family, they could be hereditary, like, you know, their father, their granny, there'll be always somebody. But like for us, either side has nobody, like, you know, so we couldn't really count on anyone to answer any of our questions. We had to go research it all ourselves, like.
But you know, the way she's so reactive and responds to everything, everyone kept saying, oh, she can hear, I ain't telling you she can hear, like, but my granny still to this day keeps saying she's going to talk, she can hear, like, you know,
she just because she's so
they don't
alert,
understand, like she don't know, like, that she has to try words, you know, if she can't hear. Tell you what she's doing lately now, she's moving her lips. I think she's just copying us where we're moving her mouth, whether she thinks she has to do it or what, but she'd be just sitting there in the mouth to be going.
She's not responding, she's not doing kind of what another child should be doing. Like, whereas when she was younger, I didn't notice it as much, like. Or even now, like, she should be kind of talking, well, trying to talk, mama, dada, there's just little words and there's none of that, like.
Gemma Lawler has had a hearing difficulty all of her life. 18 months ago, her life changed dramatically when she lost all ability to hear. Today, she communicates with her family with the help of lip reading.
It's not fair because you'll be able to do that when he starts barking.
born hard of hearing. I wear hearing aid all my life. And I could hear everything. I could hear people's voice.
You get your cock, you're going to be doing so quietly.
So see that you have a God. I think God. Everything was just silent. I could see my two girls in the dining room talking, and I was staring at them. The voice not there.
I suppose the best way to explain it would be, and this is probably best for anybody who's trying to figure out, stand in a swimming pool and listen to all the screaming and screeching that's going on, and just put your head under the water, and that's how sudden it happens. There's nothing.
So I was in my room for almost 1 month. So spread. Can't be right, can't be real. It was shock.
Right now, you're still my mum, but you're different because you can't hear.
I miss your voice a lot. You're my daughter. And I bought you, raised your voice. You always go, Mummy, hi. So I know it's hard for you, and it's hard for me, but
Modern scientific teaching of the deaf depends on using the vibrations of the waves caused by sounds as they travel through the air. With the help of a simple game, a record can be made of the degree.
Never heard a car alarm. I don't know what car alarms sound like. High pitch, any kind of high pitch noises like beeps, a mobile phone ringtone. I've never heard a mobile phone ringtone.
Richard Cantwell was born with hearing loss. It has been gradually deteriorating throughout his life.
I remember being in my grandmother's house, just playing away on the piano. I could hear the notes, it was going ding, 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 and then I'd hear a clunk on the last 3 or 4 keys on the piano. So I remember wondering, what are those keys for? And it was just because I just couldn't hear them. Those are the frequencies that I was born without the ability to hear. When I was young, that didn't really have that much of an impact on me. Then as I've got older, my hearing loss has actually become more severe. I was in a friend's house about 2 years ago, and he had a piano, and I actually got a full third of the way down the keyboard before I could hear a note. So I've lost quite a number of keys off the piano, and I think I'm probably losing 1 or 2 or more per year at this rate.
And at the end of the wire, there's kind of a magnet, and they stick that magnet to the inside of my skull, and I'm like...
I think I'm naturally a fairly outgoing sort of person, but I found myself, as I've gotten older, to be a bit more reserved.
Good job, the rugby's okay.
I know that I'm never going to have the kind of perfect hearing that, or even the very good hearing that most people have. But even if I could get it back to hearing 1 word in 3 or 1 word in 2, something like that, that would be an absolute game changer for me.
Paula Moore was born with severe hearing loss. When her daughter Sophia was born 2.5 years ago, doctors tested her to see if she had any hearing difficulties.
She started there, yeah, she started it there. We can't anymore try. My mom hurt me. Don't worry.
Paula and Sophia live with Paula's parents, who are both profoundly deaf.
Paul and Sarah, they were both born deaf. So I kind of had the experience of them growing up as a child, and then I saw my granddaughter there, Sophia, and she was deaf. So then I was quite happy at that stage. But to be honest, I do want her to talk. I want her to be quite oral because I know for her future it is going to be the best thing.
want her to feel just so when she grows up. Hi. I hope that will more communication and in the play school. Like where my family. Yep.
Ireland's cochlear implant programme is completely publicly funded. Almost 1,000 implant recipients have come through its doors since 1995. Along with all that is required for surgery, Beaumont Hospital also provides them with lifelong care.
Thank you all the parents and grannies and aunts and uncles for coming along today, and thank you all the children for coming today. It's great to see you. I operated the first adult in March 1995. It was a big event in the hospital. It was also a big event surgically. I remember coming into the theatre and there were about 20 people standing around. Didn't know who half them were. And it was quite tense for me. The operation went fine, and then we did the first child later on that year, and we did one other adult. So we did 3 people the first year, which is a big thing. When you compare that now, we're doing 219 implants this year, so things have escalated.
Blue 370.
When Gemma Lawler completely lost her hearing, she decided to get a cochlear implant. She hopes it will break 18 months of total silence.
I feel everything quiet because it's very breezy, also bored, all silent. So when I get cochlear, I'll be able to hear the breeze, trees, and the birds sound. So I look forward to that. I want to hear, to feel that nobody call my name. My name's gone. No Gemma or no Mom. Years ago, when I was hard of hearing, I disagreed with cochlear. Because I'm very nervous, because it's a very big decision.
Are you ready?
Yeah. I'm ready to go. I know people don't like the idea because they were deaf. Okay, for example, if I would prefer deaf, I would want it because I've always been deaf. I was hard of hearing. I'm hard of hearing. I've heard before, so I miss it terrible. So it's my decision. I go for it.
We now have techniques for the testing of hearing of infants. We concentrate on those children, for instance, who have a family history of deafness, whose mothers have had German measles or other infectious disease during pregnancy.
Since the 1950s, surgeons around the world have been developing cochlear implant technology. When operations were first carried out in Ireland 20 years ago, the subject began a debate in the deaf and hard of hearing communities that continues right to this very day.
John, something which is quite surprising to hearing people is that a lot of deaf people have concerns about this operation.
Historically and culturally, society has forced us and tried to normalise this so that we would fit into the hearing world. From experience, we know that this has failed. It'll reduce the numbers in the deaf community, and sign language is constantly oppressed. People feel like one of the aims of the implants is to wipe out the deaf community. Deaf children's rights, where are deaf children's rights in all of this? We respect the rights of individuals when it comes to choice, but we feel that they should get full information before making a decision.
2.5-year-old Sophia comes from a deaf family. She is awaiting a cochlear implant. A year ago, Sophia's auntie Sarah went through the same procedure. It was a long, hard sell to her father, who had been against the idea for years.
I felt, to be honest, that some deaf people would criticise the idea of the cochlear implant. I thought, you know, they're just children. It's better to leave them as they are. This is the view, you know. Why go tampering with things, putting things into their head? What's the point? Just leave them as they are. It ended up taking my daughter Sarah. She grew up, but I felt just by looking at my daughter and how passionate she was about this, I thought, OK, well, look, I'm going to have to let her. It's her choice. Go ahead. Go get it. And I was happy for her that she made that decision. And she was delighted she made that decision.
Deaf culture is a culture, and I think it's been a problem with people that are not hearing impaired to understand that sign language is a language. And I think that people in the deaf community are people that are hard of hearing and don't want an implant or do not like the idea of an implant. Maybe they look at it from their point of view in the sense that it may interfere with deaf culture. The cochlear implantation isn't for everybody. At the end of the day, it's people's choice.
Every.
Hello, honey. Think about her. Prayer.
The purpose and making a nice pocket. It's small enough to hold the implant in place tightly against the skull and not big enough that it moves.
When you're doing something, you must look at how you're doing it, why you're doing it, and what are the outcomes, and that's very important.
So we'll use a microscope now.
Over the last 20 years, I have kept data on all our patients, pre-operatively and post-operatively. We're looking at predictive factors. Why do some people do better than others? So this is very exciting, and who knows, maybe we might even design an implant ourselves in time to come.
This area here is the first part of the balance centre in the ear. Not obvious, so it can creep up on you before you know where you are. Important to be aware of it because it's very close to the nerve that controls the face, and if that nerve is damaged, it would be as if the patient had had a stroke. There's maybe 1 or 2 millimetres here that it's safe to drill.
When 1-year-old Tegan undergoes her surgery, she will receive implants in both of her ears in a major operation.
Where they will be drilling down, it's very close to the facial nerve, and there is a risk of hitting that. So she'll have double the risk because it'll be on both sides where they'll be implanting her. So if they do hit it, if there is a percentage that they could, her face will be left disfigured, kind of. The main nerve in her face will be damaged. There'll always be that thought there that what if it does happen, but we have to just go ahead with it anyway. If we were to sit down and think of all the ifs and buts, and we'd never get it done, but it's something that we'll just have to go ahead with anyway and hope for the best.
I think there might be some down here. We'll go and have a look.
Also awaiting a cochlear implant is Richard Cantwell. His hearing loss has become more of an issue in recent years, now that he has a young family.
Do you think it's hard for Dad? Yeah. Because imagine if you couldn't hear loads of things. Like, if someone went, you couldn't hear it.
My kids are quite, they're very conversational. They're quite chatty kids, but If they're not talking to me, I don't hear what they're saying.
He's gonna go to the hospital and he's gonna get an operation here. What operation? He's gonna get like a little speaker.
A big part of their growing up is their conversations with each other. And that's a huge part, I think, of being a parent, or pride that you might take in being a parent, is just watching your children interact with each other or with other children. And I can't hear anything that's being said there. So I have to, I see a conversation, an argument, or, making each other laugh, and I have no idea what's being said there. And that's a really key part of family life that I think I'm missing out on.
Yeah.
A baby slug. Is that what he said?
Kissy.
And that's the most important part of my life, is my family life. What do caterpillars eat?
9.
Leaves.
Leaves.
This is going to be a wake-up call for me as well, and it'll make a huge difference for us, the 2 of us, the 4 of us. And hopefully things will only get better.
Yeah, like that. And where was Mary?
After 18 months of complete deafness and a worsening problem of tinnitus, D-Day has arrived for Gemma Lawler.
I can't believe today, I am going into hospital the afternoon. Because I've been waiting for so long. I've been inside for so long. It's really important for me. And also, it's important for my family. So something out there, the sunshine. It feels like they're all smiling for me. Something up there is looking after me and wish me luck.
Hello, how you doing? Just checking for availability for a bed for Gemma Lawler for the cochlear implant. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, leave it be on once, as soon as I get word from the Okay, all right, thanks a lot, thank you.
Well, what's that?
Well, there's a problem with beds. There's not enough of them at the moment, so he's going to ring me back, hopefully in the next hour or so, and then let me know what the situation is.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
We'll get you any.
Thank you.
With cutbacks and everything else, even when something is there, you don't know until the day whether it's actually going to go ahead, whatever the operation may be. So at this point, it's beds. All right, okay, all right. All right, okay, thanks. There's no bed tomorrow either. Need better for you. Well, at the moment there's no bed, so that's what, but that could change. That could change. I know, it's not easy, but it's just the bed is the problem. Right, so it's not like it's been cancelled. Okay, it might be cancelled, but not for a long piece of time. But it's just very hard on you when you're building yourself up for it.
Two-and-a-half-year-old Sophia is about to undergo surgery that her family hopes will improve her hearing and help her development of speech. For children under 5, Beaumount's Cochlear team performed the operations in Dublin's Temple Street Hospital.
We'll just have a few things to do and we'll come back in then and we'll go through some bits with you. Okay. You can understand me, can you? Yeah, okay.
Any questions before we go down? Any questions before the operation?
Any questions before operation? When jumping out it will be okay. I can figure it out.
Yeah.
I will with my family all over my heart.
We'll take good care of her.
Yeah.
Okay. She'll do great. Yeah.
The children we would see here are the children who are born deaf and children who, with various medical disorders, lose their hearing as they grow up.
I'll chat to you after the operation.
Okay.
So I suppose the most important thing for children, if they have profound deafness, is that they're picked up at an early age. We have until about 3 years of age to restore that hearing ability. Otherwise, the centre in the brain that deals with hearing starts regressing, and if it's after 3 years of age, then the benefits from a cochlear implantation start to decline.
When was the last time you had something to eat or drink?
11 o'clock last night.
Richard Cantwell's hearing has been deteriorating for his entire life. His decision to get a cochlear implant is something that he has mulled over for years.
Cochlear.
The procedure is irreversible and will disable all the function he currently has in his right ear.
The procedure itself is going to remove whatever hearing I have left in that ear, but the potential benefits then, do they outweigh that loss? And I think in my case, certainly, I feel that is a price worth paying, so to speak.
Okay, so it'll just be a few hours, and you know Peter well?
Yeah, I'll get you sorted out
So we'll look after you.
See you on the other side.
You will indeed.
Probably would be right to begin to get a bit nervous now at this point. If you weren't nervous at this point, there'd be something wrong with you. But no, I think every faith in the team here is going to be a success.
Good luck now.
Here's the brain here. This is an MRI scan. This is the right side, the side which you're doing. So the implant will be drilled, sit against the skull here, and the electrodes will pass their way into the cochlea, wind around the cochlea, and transfer nerve impulses to the cochlear nerve and to the brain for processing.
One-year-old Tegan Kavanagh's family has opted for bilateral surgery. They have been advised that this will give their daughter the best possible chance of being able to hear and develop speech.
Thank you. Ta-ta. Ta-ta.
I know we've been through all the risks of surgery before with you. I might just run through them quickly again. I know it's scary, but it's worth us just making sure you're aware it's not without risk. When we're doing the operation, we are very close to the facial nerve, which is the nerve that moves the side of the face, so you can be left with weakness of one side of the face afterwards. It's very, very rare. Okay. She'll have a slight increase above the background in her risk of getting meningitis after. Right. Again, very small, all right, which is why we've asked her to get her back.
After a wait of 1 month, Gemma Lawler has just received good news that a bed has become available in Beaumont Hospital for her long-awaited surgery.
The phone rang. I didn't know who it was. Then I saw Daddy's face. Oh, hi, he looked happy. Then he came around and me, you're going to Beaumont today. You'd be good. You look back.
If somebody's going for this, they have to be going for it themselves, not for anybody else. Because if anything changes, well, then it's down to them. They wanted it for themselves, and then no matter what happens, it was their choice. It's getting a chance to be given back what you lost, but probably even much greater than you could have expected, which is brilliant.
This is Mr. Fergal Glynn.
How are you, Gemma? Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
It's just if it doesn't work for Gemma herself, that'd be a great letdown. Of course it would be. But she can't have that going in. She has to go in with the assumption that everything's going to be okay.
Nervous. Well, of course, but excited.
No, she's not.
I'm okay. I'm looking forward.
Obviously, some patients won't get full hearing, but they get an awareness of sound, and that they find that helpful. But it is a life-changing experience. What I find really wonderful is kids coming back. A little girl stopped me on the corridor last week and she said, I've got something to show you, I've got something to show you. And she showed me her junior cert results, and it's just, to me, it's awesome. I feel as if they're my kids as well. I only have one child of my own, but it's like all these children. It's really wonderful.
Yeah. Hi, Daddy. Hi, Daddy. Give him a kiss. No kisses? Okay.
Just go on this side again.
You become part of their lives because they really have to attend every year for the rest of their lives. So you have to, treat them, they're not just a patient or a client, they're actually part of you because you're part of their lives and you take part in everything.
Yeah. I think for any parent, seeing their child being put to sleep, it is hard, but it's for the best, It's just a wait now. The next 5 hours, it'll feel like 5 days.
Okay, our patient says Mr. Cantor has been consented for right cochlear implantation. Is he positioned correctly?
Yeah.
Essential imaging?
Yeah. There's the ear canal. This is the mastoid bone here, and it's much like a crunchy bar or an arrow. We're just going to drill through this. Here's the cochlea, this little turn here, and underneath, tucked in under a cave, is the opening we're looking at. Okay, and here's the first turn of the cochlea there. So that membrane, we can pierce that now. So this is the implant here. This is a small electrode wire that will go into the cochlea. Here's a magnet and a coil around it, and the inner workings and the machinery that's the magic of the cochlear implant inside. We've drilled a well in the bone for the internal component to sit against so that it stays where we want it to stay.
It's through this opening here that Mr. Walsh will thread the cochlear implant into.
Take the gold tool, thanks. And the whole electrode has full insertion. There is a magnet within the glove. The magnet gets attached to the magnet that's implanted in the device. What we do is play stimuli down through the electrodes. They stimulate the cells that are left in the cochlea, and subsequently they stimulate the hearing nerve. We can pick up those responses on the computer, so therefore we know if the implant is stimulating the nerve as required. In some children, it's the first time that it'll be stimulated. In this adult, this man has had hearing that has deteriorated, so it'll be a reignition of the nerve. It's like kick-starting it again.
Hello. Hello, come here. Oh. Hello.
Thank you.
Thank God.
Once a cochlear device has been installed, each patient must recover from surgery before the implant is activated and before they learn if it enables them to hear.
Come on in, you ready?
Yeah, ready
And
to go.
Roisin, yes?
After 2 weeks of rest, it's switch-on day for Richard.
How have you been since the operation?
Very good.
Yeah.
No problems at all. No pain. A little bit of tinnitus.
Yeah.
But I think that's supposed to be normal.
So don't worry if it takes a while before you start to hear something, okay?
Let's go.
Okay, so I'll switch it on. You hearing something?
Right. That penetration, the very high-pitched penetration sound, I'm almost like a whistling, kind of, it's reacting to my own voice.
So you can hear your own voice.
I can hear your voice.
Yeah. Does mine sound different to yours?
No, but there's almost like a whistle on it. Yeah, it sounds like craft work.
Immediately on the first day, you can hear a range of pitches. Now again, the quality of the sound isn't probably ideal, but it's going to take time. That's
absolutely,
what,
it takes time.
Yeah.
The questions that they were asking you this morning.
Gemma Lawler is still recovering from surgery, awaiting her switch-on day.
Now that you have a cochlear implant, now that you have this, what would you like to be able to hear or do?
I just want everything. No, I know you can't have everything.
As much as you can get?
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Right, okay. And by this stage you don't know what's going to be?
No.
So it's all kind of just new experience?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, okay.
I want to feel like that, something new, rainy, windy, even, you know, the old plane call. I don't hear that, I never. So it's something that I want extra new. That's why.
Well, your own voice might be the biggest shock.
Good question, yeah.
And you can tell us to stop talking, but you can't tell yourself.
Terrible thing.
Oh, look. She's coming to say hello.
And your lovely tights.
Oh, lovely.
It's 2.5-year-old Sophia's switch-on day.
She's looking at me like, who are you?
It's a procedure that can be hard to manage with children.
My name is Jyoti. I'm an audiologist. And
The audiologist will activate her device and hope Sophia can tolerate the sensation of the sound processor on her head.
You could just try putting it on her.
Okay.
It's just a sensation. She didn't like the sensation of something being behind her ear, like the coil as well being on the scalp. What's the matter, sweetheart? Oh, she's a heartbreaker.
The Cochlear team settle for experimenting with low frequency levels. Sophia finally seems to be responding favourably.
Did some automatic testing in the end. That's to look at the response of the auditory nerves. That just helps us set the levels with the programming. So we did that, she cooperated with that. And then later on we went live and then increased the levels slowly until we thought, okay, we shouldn't go any further because we want to push for the sounds to be as loud as possible. But at the same time, if we go too high, too fast, she might have just rejected the implant. We try to manage expectations from the very beginning. That's why we say to parents, switch on day is the most disappointing day because you don't have that bling, oh, I hear moment for most children.
Also today, profoundly deaf 1-year-old Tegan Kavanagh will have both of her devices switched on.
We're obviously kind of nervous but excited at the same time, but like we're trying not to think about it too much, like, or to expect too much either. Like, we'd be hoping that there would be something, like even if it's a cry or whatever.
Like any reaction is obviously a result because whether it's a laugh or cry, it still means there's something, you know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna switch her on the left side. I'm going in on the left. She seems okay there. Okay, I'm just going up slowly, and...
Where's this? We build.
Okay.
Are you going to build?
Could you rattle this near her, just to make sure that she's comfortable? This is how it's done. Sometimes with some children, it might be many months before they start reacting. It takes time for the brain to start making sense of the sounds from the implant. So it's like you have to treat her like she's just born today and she's learning to hear sounds. Okay?
We were expecting something, I don't know. I was anyway.
Hard to tell, really, isn't it?
She reckons she's comfortable as it is. She didn't want to turn it up too much.
Like she's blinking her eyes, but I think that's probably a visual thing.
It could be like when we go home that we'd notice something, a more obvious kind of response.
No, she can't. If she's not reacting to that noise, I can't see how she can hear normal to stuff like, you know. I don't know.
On the first day, you wouldn't expect them to start making sense of sounds. That's the biggest thing. We get very upset with some of the things you see on the internet, like people who've never heard sounds before, they get the implant and suddenly they start hearing music and people talking and it's all very rubbish, because if you've never heard sounds before and you start hearing with the implant, you won't even make sense of the sounds. It takes time.
It's now been 4 months since Richard Cantwell had his implant activated for the first time.
It's about learning to hear again. It's not a sudden jump. There's lots of incremental little improvements. I mean, I was on the Lewis there recently, and a lady is making an announcement of the next stop. In Irish, she's actually saying, and Kate's that Ella. That's what she's been saying all that time. It just sounded like a mumble to me for years. Well, there's a lot of audio information out there that I've just been blissfully unaware of, that I'm now beginning to become aware of. I went to a concert just recently with a few friends of mine, and they were playing cymbals, and I've suddenly got the point of cymbals. There was this kind of rich crash sound, and I was absolutely amazed by it. I've never heard that before. In my work, I'm finding that I'm picking up more of the conversations now that I'm having with people. And when there's any kind of questions and answers, so it just makes it a little bit easier for me.
What's the rendering performance like in MapInfo 12.5 in 64-bit versus the old one?
The performance is definitely improved. We can address a lot more memory now. In social environments, I'm finding I'm able to participate a little bit more. I'm not an introvert as such, but I've always been quite withdrawn in myself, and I'm a bit more confident that I'm going to be able to make out whatever this person is going to say back to me. Yeah, you can take it off, you know. So it means that I'm able to, participate a bit more in conversations, in my family especially. So I can begin to hear my children are making out more of the conversation when I'm talking with them, or when they're talking to each other even.
I scored a goal, and then I scored another goal.
You scored a goal and then you scored another goal?
Yeah.
For the kids too, to have them able to talk and he can hear them and all that, it means a lot, and especially kind of the age they are, 7 and 11, they want to be heard.
Boom!
It's just 1 week on from Sophia's switch on. She is no longer objecting to wearing her new hearing device.
It's a slow process, but as we got through the week, now she's demanding to have it turned on. She's demanding to have it put on in the mornings.
When they came home, Mommy kept the water tap. She blowing more or something to he asked me. But now it's good. When I call her name, turn around. Yeah, the man named Sophia, the brow. Sophia, here come mommy. Yeah, they were all my family are very happy. And here though. I can't believe her. The number one. Oh, yeah.
I observed her one day, and you know, it was like she was talking. Now, obviously, I can't hear, so I don't know what she said. But my grandson, David, he said that her speech is really good, and that her voice is lovely, and that she has a few words.
Blue, yellow.
Cow moo. Cow.
So that when she goes to the play school over in the creche across the road there, the teacher over there told us she is doing really, really well.
A pig.
You know, she's mixing in with the other children a lot better, and it's really good.
High five. Am I getting a hug? Am I getting a hug? Come on. There you go. Yeah, good girl. Good girl, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Yeah? Bye. Bye.
I'm proud to see for her future. You know, when she grows up, she'll be a confident and competent adult no matter what she wants to do. You know, she'll make plenty of friends. She'll get herself a job, you know, whatever. The sky is the limit.
It's been 5 weeks since Tegan had her cochlear implants switched on. Her parents, Michael and Tina, are starting to notice some promising signs.
Something going in, obviously. Something, whether they can't tell us that it's actually sound, but there's a frequency or noise or something
Like
going in.
her,
There's something
nerves
stimulating
being
our nerves.
stimulated.
As they explained to us, a newborn baby is hearing for basically a year before ever babbling or saying a word either. Like. So she's at the start now. She used to go through a year of that before. She used to bring things in, obviously, before they can come out, like, you know.
You'd never really notice any noises from her, like. But now, like, as she's making an effort now, like, she's trying to talk, like.
We used to kind of do stuff with her, like knock and show her that when we're knocking, that's what the sound is and all, you know. It's just to link the two things together.
Time now is just the main key and a bit of patience.
We have loads of time, don't we, Beth?
That's it, like her age is at an advantage as well, like, you know, because she's still so young. Oh, you're funny.
Getting shy.
Today, Gemma Lawler will have her cochlear implant activated for the very first time.
I'm not expecting any great miracle because she's got a very long-standing hearing loss. She might hear nothing but bells and whistles, or she might actually be able to discriminate some basic sounds. I don't really know. Every time it's like a mystery. Mrs. Lawler, I'm going to play a sound. You tell me if the sound is on or off, okay?
Yes, really loud. Yes, high pitch.
The implant gives much better access to high-pitched sounds than the hearing aid would ever have given. So now what I'm going to do is I'll go in at very, very soft levels and slowly start going up. I'm just going blah, 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 blah. I'm just going very, very, very quietly. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you able to hear a little bit, or are you picking up anything at all? Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Goodness. Really? Okay, I'm just going up tiny, tiny, tiny bit.
Tiny bit, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear my voice.
You can hear your voice? Okay, what do you sound like?
Strange. Can you call my name?
Gemma. Yes.
Does he sound like a man?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
That's good, yes. We're all happy.
Gemma. No, Gemma, you call me.
Yes, yes, yes.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Do I sound the same?
You're very soft.
You're speaking very softly, Tara.
What you all call me?
Mommy.
Mommy. Yeah, I hear that.
That's fantastic. Really good. How are you feeling?
I'm so happy.
You happy?
Yes. Dramatic. Not having name, no sound name. It just kind of feel gone. But now, it's just kind of shock. You call me? Yes, I'm very happy to have my name back, Gemma. You're gonna hear the music. So I know.
There you are.
That I could hear the voice of the music. That's much better, but I did have that all week.
Oh.
It was all in one. Let's go into that.
The greater your love, the stronger you hold me, baby. The stronger you hold, the more I